And first ban with the Seraphine ban, and we like to see that. Seraphine is nuts right now. And if you're banning away junglers, in my opinion, you're behind the curve. I don't think banning junglers is a good option right now. However, keep in mind, Kaboom got the Korean imported jungler, right? In Ryan. So, wanting to put a little bit of a cap on that,
And
at least. And, yeah, trying to control that area of the map.
if you're Renzga and you don't ban Talia here after banning double jungle, if you're actually trying to keep Ryan down, like you have to take away that champion, whether it's meta right now or not. And so we'll see if the jungle priority is actually fully committed to right now. It would mean, what are they missing? They're missing an Olaf actually if they ban away Talia.
Yeah. And that's the thing about playing this ban jungle game, when you're the only side playing it, is that there are too many good junglers for it to work if you're the only one banning junglers. If both sides had banned two junglers here, red side would be sitting pretty, right? Because they get the double pickup on the second rotation, and blue side is forced to pick a jungler first pick, and that at least is some advantage for red side. But here, if it's just Renska banning junglers, they only get to take three away. And in reality, that would leave up Camille and Renekton and all those good champions. So they only get to take away two, and these apparently are the two they want off the table.
And ultimately it will be responded to with the Senna and Rel lock-ins respectively for Kaboom and Renzga. Yesterday, if you were hanging out on the cast, you would have heard RMC saying, Desave, he is inevitable. Look for him on the morning of the third day. Senna only leaning further into that, as she really is inevitable in that scaling.
For sure here, yeah. And Renska already kind of, I think you got to admit defeat on this one. I mean, yeah, I mean they have the Nunu, the Nidalee is up, just kind of trying to illustrate that like you haven't changed anything by banning those junglers. Weiser is going to pick up Gnar on the blind pick, the end of the blue side picks. Here's that last pick, red side first rotation. I say you'd look for a carry here, look for a bot laner. Kai's taken off the table though, so I don't really know what you go for. Yeah, so
Yeah, sure,
they're just
sure,
gonna go for the
sure.
Zoe. Yeah, that's a good pick. Yeah,
I see it, yeah. Enga, in particular, has maybe struggled a little bit, although as a whole, I am a big fan of the player. I feel like he's brought a lot of much needed attitude to the Renzga squad and actually made it so that they can pop off early. That's exactly what they're going to need to do into Kaboom. With things like Gnar and Senna here, you've got to be relying on people, the new people on Renzga, like Zirigui, excuse me, and Enga to be running around the map and making things happen before Kaboom just slowly scale their way up.
100%. Yeah, I would like to see them get out of the lane. Like to see them try and make the setup plays here too. Frost strikes Graves. We've seen him on Graves quite a few times. It's a good champion for them. It's normally a pretty good look. What I'm worried about is like you were talking about the realm from Zeragwai trying to get up in the mid lane to help Enga out. I would have liked to have seen a more support style jungler, especially with the jungle changes. I'm gonna go ahead and say that. I know they weren't like too crazy, and the Frost Strike can probably still hard carry this game on a damaged champion like Graves, but Zoe has been so effective in this league, that having even just a little bit more setup for themselves, I think would be valuable enough, and with the jungle changes, that it would warrant picking something like the Nunu. Um, I believe the Hecarim was up there too. Just anything with the displacement, anything with a little bit more setup would have helped out.
There's not going to be anybody, apparently, to set up as Gangplank gets locked into the top lane. The last place that you can really look
Yeah.
to have CC, unless we're picking something like Ashe, Varus, and let's be real, Axeman, that's not happening right now.
Yeah, no. So it's just going to be the Rel, and you're right. That is going to necessitate Zeragwai being everywhere because that's the only place that they're really going to have any kind of setup. Now, if Everett's misplaying and getting nailed by bubbles all game, that's going to be a different story. But it would be nice to see a team comp at least recognize a little bit there that Zoe is insane right now, and if we can get them some more lockdown, it'll help out. But it's going to be the Senna. Presumably not fasting with the Alistar lock-in. I don't think you fast with the support engage tank, but seen it done. It gets pretty wild, especially if they just get a primary tank item. and try to scale it that way. But difficult to say the least. I was expecting the Jhin here too, but to be honest, with Leona, I'm stuck on Jhin Leona from season 10. I was never really sold on the Rel, so maybe this is just as good, but I'm a little old school there, Dia.
I understand. I think that right now, for at least the answer is Rel brings so much more in a different way. Engage Leona very very good at finding those picks and those engages out of almost nothing. And Ziriguai, while very comfortable on the Rel, hasn't really shown us his Leona. At the very least, we know that this champion and this player can find beast engages into more people. I want to say it's really that flash dismount into Ferromancy Magnet Storm that can change entire games.
100%. Yeah, I mean, there's some very powerful abilities, and it's an engage support, so I think you're always going to be powerful. But this one in particular has a lot of utility to it that really helps out the team. Um, but yeah, the Rel pick is not super successful in CBLOL, even if it is incredibly strong. At the end of the day, when you're playing best of ones, I would look for the success more than the inherent power of the champion anyway. But maybe that's just me. And they got the Battle Queen skin too, which we don't we don't love.
No, we certainly do not love it. Bad Battle Queen. I just want another skin for Rel so that people can just use that one, because I understand nobody wanting to use base skins. They want to feel good about themselves, feel like they are that 1%, but it's just like what's it called? It's like Seraphine. Seraphine doesn't have a great skin right now, you know? It just needs
Yeah,
to
they
level
got
up a little bit.
the ultimate skin that kind of makes them look like a regular person, which is
Yeah.
interesting to say the least. But I kind of like that the Rel skin makes him look like Storm from the X-Men, but on a horse with a lance.
I
It's
like
very
it.
there's like a certain like air of like non sequitur to it, where it's like, why is Storm wearing
On a
armor
horse, yeah.
on a horse? Like it's kind of like, wait a second, what's going on? But um, yeah, no, it's at least it is very cool looking. This is obviously a very powerful woman, but yeah, not in love with skin. Anyway, moving into the actual game, um, I think Jin Rel wins these, but I mean, RMC said it right, man. Desave, look for him on the third day, and he has been unstoppable and inevitable all in one. So we'll have to keep a lookout for the Senna on this game. I don't think Senna, yeah, not fasting this game. Um, just gonna get the Alistar professor buff here.
I have a really important question for you, Axman. Are we counting Alistair as a quadruped?
I would say so. Yeah. Is that insensitive? I don't want to be insensitive to Minotaurs. He definitely drops on all fours at some point.
When
I
he
believe.
travels, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. It looks super awkward, but yeah, no, he definitely drops on all fours, and that to me makes him quadrupedal. By the way, I just in terms of champions that drop on all fours, I don't think Riot has actually made like a smooth transition with that. It normally looks pretty awkward. You recall like Volibear Q looks super
Oh
weird when he
yeah.
drops on all fours, especially the new rework. It's a little strange looking, but
It's tough to do. I don't know. I like animation is one of those things that is so ridiculously far beyond me, because
oh yeah,
it's what's it like, you gotta figure out where this is so it's gonna sound so dumb, but you gotta figure out where all the moving points on the thing are to make it look like a regular thing. I don't know if you've played with those character
very
designers, but you know how
yeah.
sometimes it'll be like smile and your character will end up looking just absolutely
Yeah.
terrifying. Like, how do you mess
Not
that
the
up? But at the
way.
same time, how the
Yeah,
hell do you do that?
not the way you thought they were looking. Yeah, in the character creator. Yeah, but to be fair, how would a giant god bear drop down on all fours? The answer from X187 is I have no idea. So their guess is as good as mine. Kiari top lane out of mana already. I love this matchup. This is so much fun for me, especially when both sides have grasp, because it's not only an exciting laning phase, which is something we never got to see in Season 10 from late game top laners, But it's also the promise of a late game just with so much fireworks, right? When both sides are trying to scale up with that rune. But just zone control, and then the cleanse built into the kit from Chiari makes
Mm-hmm.
this a good matchup into the Gnar. Gnar, ultimately blindable into everything, has tons of control. The top side,
Oh,
Ryan, he gets it for free. Frost Strike is on the run.
that
It
was
feels bad.
that was nuts.
Well, I think the worst part is now you have a 2-camp lead on Graves as Nidalee, right? Um, and Nidalee definitely has priority, I would say, in the early game, but not necessarily in the 1v1. So
Heading
being able
top
to
lane.
smite the...
Hit the spear.
Yeah,
He got it.
there's the
Kiari goes
spear!
down. Oh, never mind. Flash away. Actually keeps him up.
Yeah,
It's
they
free
keep him
though.
up.
Yeah.
For sure. Weiser, I think probably just the 1 point in W? I'm not sure how many stacks he got of that passive on the Chiari. Um, but it probably well, it wasn't enough to kill him. I'll know that much. So maybe taking that second point in Q. I like putting points at W, but that's because I'm very bad at Gnar. So Chiari back in the top lane. God, the mana, it feels so bad. I mean, into a manaless champion.
It feels awful,
Jeez.
right? They can just play this war of attrition game, and with Doran's shield, that actually looks like exactly what Weiser is hoping to do. Kiari, otherwise, obviously having a really big poke advantage, as we do see emerging in the jungle at the very least. Ryan able to land that spear very early on, and has gotten some nice stuff done. I've been impressed with the early pressure that Nidalee is putting down more often than not when Nidalee is locked in, especially in CBLOL. We see it hang out for a really long time before it actually
Oh,
does anything.
yeah, yeah. No, it's sometimes it takes a while, right? Because you have a lot of damage to bring to the table, but Renekton almost always permabanned.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not, it's normally because you're like doing what Weiser did this go around, which is blinding a top laner, and blinding Renekton not necessarily the best thing going. So um, you have this champion that brings a lot of damage in the early game to the table, but no setup. So if you're not getting any setup from your lanes, sometimes things take a little bit of time to get up off the ground before you have enough damage to really just solo out a laner by yourself, or bring enough damage to the table that it doesn't need setup. But Nidalee does get there eventually, and it's about this time when they're starting to hit level 6.
My favorite
Froststrike
thing
got a
about this
ward.
current meta is the boots rush that we see from everybody. Oh
Oh
my lord,
boy.
did Enga even see that? I don't even think Enga saw that. He's just going straight for the kill though, completely ignoring the fact that Ryan was in the jungle, and he
Okay.
almost takes down Weiser in the meantime. Ryan is going to need to come up to cover some of this.
Yeah, Chiari no mana though, and
Rip.
that'll do it. Ryan back
Oh,
in.
Kiari face
What?
checking too. Ryan is so ready for this. Weiser's on the hunt right now, and Frost Strike is coming up, but it's
Wow.
not quite
There
fast
you
enough.
go.
Collects the first blood and makes it look so easy. Kiari, big overstep right there.
And that's exactly what we were talking about. Chiari walks all the way from that mid lane brush all the way back towards their tower. Never once were they CC'd, but it did not matter. There's just enough damage between Gnar and Nidalee at this stage of the game at level 6 to make the difference there. But oh, there we go.
I can't believe
That'll
you
be
get that
just
for free.
enough.
How do you get an Everfrost for free, bro? What?
I don't know. I don't know. At least it's not what did they take off of Zoe recently? Was it Proto Belt, I think? Um
It might have been
I think these are
Redemption.
like yeah, you're right. Redemption. At least they took Redemption off. That was nuts, but like you get tons of damage and you get lane sustain. Like what? Come on. But yeah, taking the reset here is Anga. No kills yet on the Zoe, which is more than Fury could have said at 10 owns, but um, still pretty successful. I'll go ahead and say thus far for the Zoe. They're coming back into lane with Boots of Lucidity, which is the best item in the game.
Yeah, it's quite powerful and allows you to do all of the things faster. It's like trying to play Earth as much as you can, but
Yep.
just in regular game.
Oh!
Zergwai goes for the engage, does still find the double stun, and the cannon barrage gets invested, but Desave
Oh
not quite low
no.
enough, and unfortunately, Zergwai is going to learn that the hard way.
Professor drops that Yumi emote down. That was a funny one. What was that? What was that play? That's interesting. But here's that. Oh no. Oh, this is Ryan's replay. I thought we were gonna play the replay of Professor, but yeah, Kiari, look at him. completely free on the movement speed. No CC, never once. Doesn't matter. They just had enough damage, and he was too far away from the turret as well. And that's something you mentioned. You get caught out face checking a bush. Now, to speak for Chiari, his mid laner had just been there, right? So you're probably feeling a little bit of safety. But yeah, not enough to actually keep him safe. Maybe just the illusion of safety.
Yes.
Because if you're Chiari, not only did your mid laner just get there, but you also saw Ryan previously, and then you saw Ryan leave. So if you're Chiari, you're thinking, man, if Ryan's in this bush, he's been there for the last 30 seconds, and that would be wild, right? There's no way. But nope, Ryan was there. He's in the bush.
Ryan is always there.
Yeah, apparently. Everett picks up blue buff, as is Enga. I'm not sure if it's or yeah, they actually did get the blue buff off their jungler, so both mid laners are gonna have a little bit more of the sustain there, at least on the abilities, and that helps them keep up the CS numbers. So they should pull ahead in CS here, as everybody else has to reset when they run out of mana.
Is Enga going to be okay? That's my big question right now. Ultimate gets invested from Enga. Good flash actually keeps him safe for just a little while longer, but the spear actually makes it. Unfortunately, Ryan does go to sleep, but now the backup of Kaboom is truly here. It's a 2v3, and Professor still somehow alive with the assistance from the bot lane. Chiari should know that he's dead, though, does give over that kill to Everett, and by the smallest of margins, just a single kill, it is going to be in the advantage of Kaboom that trade goes.
I don't want to call Nidalee an RNG champion because it is a skill shot, right? I mean, you get to choose where it flies, right? But you're throwing it at pro players, so it's kind of like every time you throw it, there's a little bit of a coin flip factor here. But the single target damage you're getting out of the combo of Nidalee and Syndra is massive. But it's even bigger when you're landing all the spears. And Enga finds out the hard way that if you're taking Syndra ult, it doesn't Syndra ult and 2 Nidalee spears, it doesn't matter if you dodge the stun. There's no setup necessary. Just raw damage is enough to take you down, even with all the mobility, even expending flash. Didn't end up using heal there, but yeah, that's incredibly difficult to get away from if Ryan's landing all those spears, and they did. So
yeah, Ryan hasn't really been missing too many of them this game. Renska hanging out in this brush right now. Might have found Professor, who is going to eat everything here. Does pop the Unbreakable Will to stay alive, and Zerogwai should be able to get out of here. What was it? What?
I just one ability keeping a champion relevant in the meta is kind of funny to me, and the Unstoppable Will is the ultimate. That's yeah, no, that's like the damage reduction's insane. He 100% dies there. I would say most other supports die there. Right?
You know who doesn't die there?
Probably not Leona.
Leona with Eclipse. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. That's that's
yeah, because I know Nautilus of W dies there, but yeah. Oh yeah. So, Rift Herald drop top lane. Not going to get the turret.
Is Ryan going to get killed here? Chiari looks confident in it. Does get the grasp proc in the end of that, but that's plenty of damage to her. Never mind. Please ignore me.
By the way, Weiser does eventually get the turret down as Chiari's zoned off by the nuclear spear that Ryan drops on top of him. By the way, no mythic yet for Ryan. It's literally just base damage, as most things are with Nidalee. And Chiari hard loses lane to a late game champion. Yikes.
Yeah, it makes sense, and like you say, it is only going to get worse from here on out. Weiser almost completing that mythic right now. Is the first one that we see picked up is actually Desave in the bot lane. What is that emote?
That's the yikes emote.
I love that emote.
Yeah, that's the whew, I barely made it onto an allied champion Yumi emote, but yeah, no, unfortunate there that they weren't able to get the knock up on Trigo.
I told myself I would never buy emotes. That might change. That looks so good, actually. It's so cute.
That's a pretty good one, yeah. Yeah, I like all the Yumi emotes. They're pretty good, but ooh, Ryan just completed Night Harvester. Ugh.
That's a deadly Nidalee right now.
Oh yeah, things go bad to worse for Renska.
I'm surprised that with the Lucidity boots we don't see Moonstone.
Yeah, I think it might be more of like an adaptation. I know Ryan got that early kill onto Kiari, and I
Hmm.
think that might have switched things up a little bit for them. I don't think they were expecting to have that level of success with that top lane gank. I think it was more of like a blow flash situation for them.
Hmm.
And as soon as they got Kiari close enough, it might have been like, maybe we go Night Harvester's game. Maybe we go for the quick end.
Go for the confidence play. Right now, you can afford to be pretty confident because Renska don't have a whole lot to their name. It's just under 15 minutes right now, but there's already a 3K gold lead that's developed for Kaboom, and their champions haven't even all hit their spikes yet. We're still waiting on people like Everett, Eyes, and even Wiser to be able to really crack open. Has just picked up the Stride Breaker. And Desave is going to take a little while to scale up as the Senna that is not fasting with the Kraken Slayer even. So you got plenty of time to try and hang out and scale up to the point, where you can really take over the game because Renska are the ones that need to get going.
Yeah, for sure. And that's Everett just
Engadize here.
ooh,
Oh my
the
god.
spear once again.
How does he have heal? Oh, no mind. He actually has heal. I
Yeah,
was
he has
super.
summoner spell heal. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, hold on a minute. What? Professor looking for
Bellstar.
Dancing Gauge is, I
Yeah.
expect, not going to find it because Enga's playing pretty safe right now.
There's
But
no way,
Kaboom.
right?
Kaboom are going to get some nice damage on this tower, is going to be the result of this. Unfortunately for them, the kill just out of their reach.
Definitely. And it's so important when you're playing a champion like Zoe to stay, out of the reach of all of the engage, because as easy as it is for you to access enemy champions, it is also fairly easy for them to access you. You don't have a whole lot of way of disengage other than just throwing a bubble at somebody. And if you throw a bubble directly at somebody who's right in your face, it only sleeps them, right? So
Hmm.
it's not as effective as maybe you would want it to be, hitting three members over a wall or something like that. So it's kind of like a last ditch effort. And I guarantee if you're just sleeping Professor on that engage, you 100% die.
Renska are looking for a play in bot lane, but it does mean that the Rift Herald gets dropped mid, and
Another
unfortunately,
one.
they need to call off the dive in bot lane too, so they're just losing right now. The map not being run by them at all. And instead, Kaboom are the
Double
ones knocking on the
charge.
tier 2s in two different lanes. Check out Wiser right now. He's taken down the other side. The top lane tier 2 is no
Yeah.
more.
And we had promised you a high octane game. Hopefully, you got your fill, folks, because this game is not going to be going on much longer if it goes past 20 minutes at all. And Kaboom basically saying, Dragons, what dragons? We just got the Rift Heralds and all of your towers. And that's enough objective focus for us. They get both Rift Heralds and all of the solo lane turrets in sub 16 minutes. I
It's a
think that might be a
4K gold
record.
lead, yeah, and it should be Froststrike able to pick up this dragon. As you say, there hasn't really been a contest from Kaboom yet, although they are strong enough to do so should they desire it. But with no
Yeah.
vision in the river, Froststrike seems like he's going to pick this one up easy.
Yeah, Savi and Professor lose their bot lane turret, and that is an advantage, certainly. That, okay, here we go. Wiser with the in, gonna gnar some minions, but he was running
Nice.
out of mega, so it's,
Had to go for it.
yeah, you gotta use it somewhere. Might as well use it on minions. And that would have been a cool play if he was able to land the ability, but not quite. Trigo with the 30 CS lead. No kills yet, and I believe the goal would be even between the two carries with the kill participation from Desave, but at least a little bit of the light at the end of the tunnel for Rensga is this Jhin. And Jhin is not a particularly weak champion, so maybe a way back in the game for them.
That's true,
Here
especially if
we
they can
go.
find a pick on Everett. Good disengage from
Yikes.
Professor that was keeping everybody else from getting on top of his
Wow.
carry. Renska's engage gets stuffed by just the Alistair.
Curtain call fourth shot doing 100 damage to a support is very, very demoralizing.
Yeah.
But that's just the damage reduction on the ult from Professor, and God, that ability is insane. I mean, he canceled out the whole ultimate, and to be honest, a little bit on Trigo for missing the first two shots there, despite having vision on everybody. But you would expect at least a little bit more damage from a champion that has lethality, like built right now on the champion. I don't know. And it's got the paddle star. They hit
Wiser,
the
I think,
wave.
should live here. This is another one of those
Yeah.
Scion
Oh yeah.
situations where
No way you
he's
die.
tanky enough, he's got enough Mega, he's got the Flash even, and does manage to survive. If he can survive the ensuing fight, though, as there are 5 members in top lane, Tasavi's having the
Yep.
time of his life in bot. He's under no threat. Everett also should know that.
Yeah, Renska are about to lose the last of their turrets if the Save pushes in. The
I think
spear.
Trigo should just die here. Has to
Oh
flash away. Oh, he even gets
no!
stunned at the end. No! He made it so far.
That's one of the things playing to Kaboom's favor is that if Rensga just has Trigo, it just so happens that Trigo is a single target, and that's what Kaboom excels at with this comp is destroying one guy and saying, you know what, your team might kill us afterwards, but you are definitely going to be dead. And
Yeah.
for Rensga, it's just Trigo that can kill Kaboom right now, and that's not a good recipe for success for them here.
Finally, every single person on Rensga has died with that kill on Trigo, and there are still 3 members left on Kaboom whose KDAs remain untarnished at the moment. They're still in a position to knock on the base doors, but I think they feel a little bit lost right now. Kaboom don't really have an objective to go for, but they found Froststrike, and with the Hex Flash over the wall, no flash on this man. Froststrike should just be going down here.
Jeez.
Ziriguai, very much the next one, as
Bad.
he did try and save his carry, but it's not going to work.
Yeah, not quite there.
Okay.
Ooh, they get the horse back up. Flash
Okay.
over the wall.
Okay.
The spear doesn't connect either. So maybe they're out.
That's surprising. Enga,
meanwhile, carries.
not nearly so much out. Trigo is
Yeah.
going to be in a little bit of trouble as well. So he picks up a stride breaker and then instantly dies. And Nar goes on a killing spree. Wiser has looked particularly powerful this game after
Oh,
getting that
boy.
first kill. Ryan should know that Trigo
Ooh,
has
spear
nothing.
misses.
Oh, yeah, the Gale Force also getting Trigo to safety here. Ryan's actually been having a little bit more of a rough time recently. People have got their spear dancing shoes on.
Yeah, everyone's got tier 2 boots now. Folks have Gale Force, excuse me, which is helping them dodge the abilities as well. So you're not connecting nearly as many spears at this point, unfortunately, for Rensga. It does not particularly matter. A couple of them get to live a little longer, but that's about it. All the turrets are down now for Rensga as the chokehold starts to constrict on their necks here, but they've been doing a fairly decent job at playing across the map and trying to pick something up across the map. We see them, they have all the dragons. They have fairly decent CS numbers for a team that's getting destroyed, and that is at least something that they can be proud of here. Something that they can look forward to in the remainder of the league as a strength for their side. But at least against Kaboom, they'll need to update their playstyle if they want to have any kind of victory against this team.
Yeah, you don't really look at Rensga and go, this is an objectively weak team, despite their position in the standings right now. But it does feel like they're just that little bit less coordinated than Kaboom. And with the roster changes, it's only continuing to make that a problem. Chiari, nice flash over the wall. Maybe the blast cone gets him to safety. Seems like it will for the moment here, but Ryan follows him over almost instantly. Actually might go down here in the Baron pit, forced to jump away, but the spear would have killed him if Everett hadn't swooped in for that final hit, and now they get to turn straight onto the Baron.
And they certainly have the damage to complete this as well. Not necessarily through means of their own damage profile, but they're just wildly ahead. So they'll be taking this one. Rensga looking for the Cloud Soul as a potential path to victory here. Maybe misguided, maybe just making the best of a bad situation for them. Either way, good to see them pick up something. We talked about them trading things back and that being a bright point for them. And they continue that even as the game comes to a close here. The Baron power play. I think this has to be it here.
I think it should right now. Everybody from Kaboom is on the way, and they've decided to pull the trigger off the back of knowing that everybody at Rensga was at the Dragon right now. You can't even defend 2 turrets at once, so Kaboom are going to get some free time with your inhibitor. At the very least, their minions will be able to put in the work. They rotate over to this mid lane, good stun lands onto Ziriguai, but they can play the siege at the moment. Desave, at the very least, has a lot of range, and Everett perfectly willing to back him up here. Chiari just goes down to the ultimate at the end there, and it's a pick found. Ryan maybe looking looking for another one, goes golden, and the last auto will be had by Desave as he finds it with the ultimate there. Dawning Shadow, not going to be avoidable this time around. Chiari and Zirguai are down. Froststrike, Enga, and Trigo are up to try and contest this, but none of them doing particularly well right now. Are going to have to give it their all. Professor eats a big chunk of damage off of Enga, but it's not quite enough. Kaboom! They are knocking on your doors, and it doesn't seem like Renska anybody's home. Kaboom should be able to find the end of the game right here, right now, but they will instead choose to back away for the inhibitor. Let's see if that respawn actually nets them team fight.
Yeah, they look to hesitate. Oh, nope.
Nope, Zirguai's gone.
Hesitation.
Okay.
Yeah, the hesitation ends as I mention it.
This is
kind of
once
a
again,
wily
yeah,
coyote.
Baron minions knocking on your door, even if Kaboom are not, and Renska will fall in what was a very weird end of the game situation, but, you know, they held on for a while.